Tonight we bring you the story of an unlikely hero. Meet Johnny. He is in the library on the last day of school, putting the finishing touches on his history final. If he doesn't get at least a B on his paper, then he won't graduate. Johnny, however, isn't worried about the possibility of repeating his senior year. All he can think about is how he's wasted 4 years trying to get Liz to go out with him. Today is his last chance to get her attention. Johnny sighs, forgets he's in the library, and blurts out, "I'm on my way. I can go the distance. I don't care how far. Somehow I'll be strong." His outburst interrupts the studying of notorious school bully Alan Buff, who storms across the room, knocks Johnny's books to the floor, and says, "Let's get ready to rumble!" Johnny jumps from his chair and grovels at Alan's feet. Alan grabs him by the shirt, hauls him to his feet, and says, Alan draws back his fist to hit Johnny, but at that moment is stopped by Liz running in from the hallway, screaming. Alan, like Johnny, has a crush on Liz, so he lets go of Johnny's shirt suddenly, dropping him to the ground. Alan gets down on one knee and pleads to Liz, "I'd do anything." Liz gives Alan the stink eye and says, Alan's face falls, but Liz just crosses her arms and says, "I don't want to see you walk that door, baby, bye, bye, bye." While Alan is slinking out the door, Liz kneels down next to Johnny to help him out and asks, "Can you tell me so?" Picking himself up off the ground, Johnny is embarrassed, but manages to blurt out, After one last look, Liz stands up and walks out of the library, leaving Johnny alone with his books. Johnny stares after her as he picks his books up off the ground and says, As soon as she is gone, however, Johnny realizes he may have just blown his last chance to impress her, and he slams his books onto the table. He slumps down in his chair, and his history final is forgotten as he dreams about what it would be like to be stronger and faster and have Alan afraid of him for a change. In Johnny's daydream, Alan and Liz walk into the library, caught up in a heated debate. Liz cries, Alan begs her, Liz shakes her head and says, Just as the fight begins, Alan yells at Johnny. The new and improved Johnny takes a swing and with one punch knocks Alan to the floor. Johnny then looks at Liz and says, Leaping to her feet, Liz takes 2 steps and throws her arms around Johnny, saying, But Johnny wants to make sure that things are over between Liz and Alan for good, so he takes a step back and asks, All the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single ladies, now put your hands up. Liz throws her hands up then leaps into Johnny's arms and he carries her off into the sunset. Inspired by his daydream, Johnny jumps up to run off and fight Alan, but he doesn't have to go far. Alan storms back into the library, angry that he let Liz kick him out before. Alan shoves Johnny and taunts. With newfound courage, Johnny chants. Alan laughs, responds, "We will rock you," and shoves Johnny. Johnny stumbles against the table but says, "I get knocked down, but I don't get down." Alan grabs him again and throws him over the table. He saunters out of the library, cheering. As Alan makes his exit, Johnny mumbles from the floor. Liz comes running back into the library to get the bag she left before. Johnny reaches out a hand where he's lying behind the table and yells, "Don't leave me this way. I can't survive without your sweet love. Help me. Don't leave me this way." Liz stops suddenly and looks around to try and find where he is. Johnny tries again. Liz finds Johnny behind the table and helps him to his feet, saying, "How wonderful life is when you're in the room." Johnny holds her hands and asks, "How you be my girl?" Liz comes back and says, Just then the bell rings, signaling the end of the school day. Johnny and Liz hug and he throws his paper over his shoulder and together they say,